How to win the chess game in under 10 moves by trapping your opponent's king. So here, if you are playing from white, you will play from e4, the king's pawn. If opponent play e5, then you can apply this tactic which is known as a scholar mate. Now, here you bring out the queen first on h5. Now, there are lots of possibility that opponent will play knights like this or pawn like this or the knight like this. So now I'm going to tell you what you have to do if he plays such things. If he plays the pawn on the g6, you will simply move the queen on the e5. Now it's an attack on the rook and the king. He will block by the queen, you will take the rook, you will take the pawn. Don't block it by the bishop, otherwise you will lose the rook. Simply block it by the knight. Now your opponent will do something like this maybe, or he will just move back the queen. We will take the knight free and we can continue the game. If he bring out this knight here, we will simply take out the bishop on the c4. Now if he play this or this, so if he plays the knight, we will simply take the pawn and it's a mate. And if he plays this pawn to block it, and we will simply move the queen to the f3. Now we are attacking on the weakest pawn again, right? If he tries to give any threat of the queen capture and a fork of the rook and a king, we will simply capture the f7 again and it's a mate. But if he's smart, he will just simply put the knight here and now you're blocked. Now you have to simply put the pawn on the c3 so he cannot bring his bishop to the d4 and give a threat of the capturing the queen and giving a threat of a fork. So that is known as a scholar mate. Now we're gonna learn the tactic which requires the queen sacrifice for the checkmate. You play e4, opponent play e5, you will play knight f3, opponent play knight c6, you will play knight c3, and opponent will just play the pawn d6, and then you play bishop c4 and the opponent will play f4. If he plays this opening, you can apply the legal mate tactic which requires the queen sacrifice. You will simply open the pin by going the knight on the e4 and your opponent will capture the queen. You will go the bishop f7, king will come on e7, and then it's a knight d5 checkmate. What if he don't takes the queen? If he takes the knight, then you will simply take the bishop, simple. And if he takes the knight by the knight, you will simply take the bishop on the e2 and protect the queen and the position too. You lose one knight, but now you have to just be careful and play your game. But it's a good tactic to try, give it a shot. Now let's see how to win fast from the black pieces. Now, if opponent play Italian, which is the most famous opening, you will simply respond with the knight c6 after he completes the Italian opening. You will simply put the knight on the d4 if he captures the knight. Take the knight, then he will just simply develop the pawn, you will take out the bishop and continue the game of chess. But if he takes the free pawn, greedy, and he's trying to do the fried liver attack, go to the queen and the rook. So now you will let him do the fork, but in a different way. You will simply put the queen on the g5. Now he will get greedy and take the f7. He is forking the queen and the rook, but you will simply take the g2 pawn and attack the rook. Now he saves the rook, right? Just give a check. Now if he blocks it with the bishop, you will go simply f3 and it's a mate. Now let's see the solar gambit. You can play this gambit when opponent tries to play the London and plays the d4. You will play the e5, captures the pawn, go with f6, he captures the pawn, capture with the knight, knight out, and now You will simply put the bishop on the c5, attacking on the f2 pawn, which is weakish for the white. And now, if we just try to pin the knight, you will give him a queen, and then you can play this tactic in a rapid games, in a blitz games. It will be pretty useful. You can try this.